This was a tough one. Trenching out the area, installing 22 limestone blocks, 85 kilos each, and 10 mixer loads of concrete, all one person. Needless to say, it required plenty of quality food to sustain the effort. In this video, I'll outline the protein consumed, and the sources I know from experience will supply what is required by this 54-year-old without having to think too much. Not all of these foods will be to everyone's taste, but it is nonetheless a solid example of the complete protein we need if we're going to carry out this kind of physical effort on a regular basis. For me, as a 95 kilo physically active male, approximately 120 to 160 grams of protein a day is about right. So the general idea is to have meals ranging between 25 and 50 grams of protein about 4 times a day. The first meal at around 8 a.m, about an hour after work started, was a medium-sized tasty meat sauce with a little beef liver mixed with a generous portion of chopped kale and a tablespoon of olive oil. I think I happen to be one of the few people who actually likes kale and find it matches really well with cooked meat. So all up, about 30 grams of protein. At around 10 a.m, I had 4 boiled eggs seasoned with a little pepper and salt. Around 24 grams of protein. At around midday, I enjoyed a can of sardines in spring water with some leafy greens, seasoned with a little MCT oil and salt. That comes in at about 23 grams of protein. If I'm feeling a bit hungrier than usual, or the work is extra heavy, then I'll have 2 cans. Of course, it's nice to have a snack while working, so I'll usually have a handful of Brazil nuts and walnuts, plus a dozen or so blueberries at some point. And then after work, I'll often have a bowl of Greek yogurt with a little paleo granola. That'll probably be around 10 to 15 grams of protein. And finally, for dinner on that day, I had half a large-sized T-bone steak with a large portion of green vegetables, making up around 50 grams of protein. So with all that, a total of around 140 grams of protein for the day, if I didn't add extras here and there. Incidentally, most of this food was generously seasoned with salt, and I add a teaspoon or 2 of salt to my drinking water for the day. I drink about 2 to 3 litres. As a low carber, I tend to need a lot of salt. I get my blood pressure checked every time I donate blood platelets, and it's always in the healthy range. So a high sodium intake is not an issue for me. Now, if I weren't a low carber, I would sometimes try to make up the protein with large portions of good plant-based protein combinations like rice and bean mixes, like kidney beans, pinto beans and black beans. Various kinds of protein powders are also a valid option, but generally not for me, as I prefer whole foods to processed foods. But I understand protein powders are a very convenient way of making up the difference. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know down in the comments what you do for work protein, and I'll see you in the next video.